Hey, OM, what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. Money in the Bank 2021 will go down in the history books as one of the best pay-per-views the WWE has put on in the last couple of years. Definitely a fun night for the most part, but it is not without its bad. With all the good also must come the bad, and this pay-per-view is no different. There is plenty to drop the hammer down on, and one of the things isn't even the WWE's fault. We are going to talk about all of that and so much more as Money in the Bank came to us from Texas tonight and did not disappoint in bringing the heat. My name is Nick Nightmare. You are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Money in the Bank review and reaction show. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Can I just start off by saying how happy I am that this show was actually pretty good. It's as if the wrestling gods actually answered our prayers. All I want is to enjoy wrestling, and tonight, for a great majority of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, I did just that. Let me know in the comments down below if you did as well. Thank you for stopping by today once again, and if it's your first time here, don't forget to bring your hammers down on that subscribe button and join Sledge Nation today. And if you enjoy yourself and have a good time here, as I know you will, make sure you smash that like button while you're in that general vicinity. It really helps out the channel. I would really appreciate if you would do all of those things and help us grow to be the biggest, baddest podcast in all of the YouTube wrestling community. It's a tall order, I know, but I need your help to do so. So please feel free to help us out in any way you possibly can. There is merch available as well, but I don't push that too hard because I know how hard it is right now. Everybody's just getting back to work. Things are getting back to normal. You don't got a lot of money to spend, but if you do feel like dropping a few ducats, there's a link in the description below. Thank you for enduring all of that nonsense. And now that we got that business part of the show out of the way, let's talk Money in the Bank. The kickoff show, right off the bat, got things started with the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match that was pretty good. We seen the Usos challenging the champions, the Mysterio duo, Tiny Dad and Giant Man Baby Son, came out from the heavens or from the unknown or from some weird portal somewhere. I don't know. Does Vince McMahon not know that they're not actually aliens? I understand that they are from Mexico and they are considered resident aliens, but they're not like from outer space fucking aliens just because they wear masks and shit. They have this augmented reality shit that they're doing, and for some of the talent, it's kind of cool. Like in Kofi Kingston's case, he had like the Super Mario themed 3D video game thing going on, and that was pretty cool. For some talent, it works. But like for Roman with that giant, crazy, weird statue, like that doesn't work. It's kind of awkward. For most of it it's actually that way. But it's most especially awkward when I have to see Rey Mysterio and his gigantic man-son standing in a space pyramid, or next to a space pyramid, and there's a portal, and they're like shaking hands like, hey, let's go through the portal. And then they go through are we watching fucking Rick and Morty, or are we watching Ray and Dominic? What's going on here right now? And then they step through this weird green portal, and then they are in the arena, and Dominic's wearing a Jason mask. Jason from Friday the 13th, not like Jason, your friend from 3rd grade. He's wearing a Jason mask, and it's got like these weird little Mysterio-like symbols on it, and Ray is in one as well, kind of, and a Jason mask? A Friday the 13th Jason mask? The years of steeped lucha history that your family has had, the masks that have been involved, and Dominic Mysterio is still coming out without a mask, essentially, but like he came out in this mask tonight, And it looked ridiculous. It looked ridiculous. But that, all kidding aside, this match was a good match. But it's controversial. And that's pretty fitting. There's a couple of controversial things we are going to talk about as it pertains to the show tonight. This being the first of them. And that's the Usos winning the championships here. First of all, it happened on the kickoff show. Why you would have a major title change on the kickoff show, especially involving two characters that are part of the number one angle in all of the WWE right now, doesn't really make all that much sense. It's almost as if they didn't care. Secondly, the elephant in the room is Jimmy Uso's recent arrest for a DUI. And since that has happened, there has seemingly been no ramifications put on the man. He's not been taken off TV, and now he has been given a world championship. So hopefully he doesn't go out to the bar and celebrate tonight. Let's let's keep it clean, Jimmy. Let's stop getting into trouble, Oos. We're with you, bro. Hopefully he's getting the help and the attention that he needs. All kidding aside, I don't mean that as a joke. I want the man to be okay. But let me know how you feel. Let me know if you're conflicted on it as well. I don't mind the Usos being the champions as far as the story goes. But when you bring in all the personal stuff, it makes it a lot more controversial than it should be. And plus, it happening on the kickoff show means not many people are going to think it's important. Not many people are going to tune in and see it. The arena's not even barely half full by the time the match is going on. So it just seems like an odd decision. But I don't mind. I don't mind the Usos having the tag team championships. A lot of people are going to be irate about it all because of Jimmy's, personal problems. But let's get one thing clear. The WWE is not the most ethical fucking company on the planet. And if they don't have a problem with it, neither should you. If you have a problem with Jimmy Uso's DUI arrest and you're still cheering for Matt Riddle after all of his allegations and stuff that were placed on him and shit, then you're a hypocrite. Just, who cares? Who cares? His personal life is his business. If WWE don't give a shit, why should you? Just enjoy the damn show. And that's what I try to do here. And I keep it honest with you guys, and I don't mind. I think the Usos should be the champions side by side with their Universal Champion Tribal Chief. Obviously, with what they did here tonight, there's still some tension with Jimmy. He seems still kind of like the odd man out. He was reluctant, in a way, still to pay homage to the head of the table. He was slow to acknowledge Roman as his tribal chief and stuff, but he did. He did, and apparently the Usos are back on the right track. So let's hope that they don't do anything silly to derail that in their personal life again, and that we're off to the races. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. With the tag team division being what it is, who even cares? Does it matter that we have Chad Gable and Otis sitting there? No. It doesn't matter at all. The Street Profits are there. They could battle the Usos. Maybe we can get some new teams or something called up sometime soon. Who knows? But I don't care if you don't care. Well, personally, I don't care even if you don't care. It doesn't bother me, not one bit. But let's get to the main show. And the main show started with the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And here's another one of those controversial things we are going to talk about. And controversy does create cash, and it also creates opportunities for Nicky A.S.H. Nicky A.S.H., whose character is changing in a million ways every single time we see her. First, she's Nikki Cross, almost a superhero. Then she's Nicky A.S.H. Now they're announcing her as Nicky A.S.H. I don't know what we're doing here. They don't know what they're doing. And this is just... this whole entire match, I just wish didn't exist. And I'm not saying this as a slight to the women. It's just the way whoever put this match together for them didn't do the girls any favors. There were some fun, decent money in the bank spots in this match. But it is way overshadowed by Alexa Bliss trying to use her magic powers to summon the briefcase to her in the middle of the ring, all while there's nobody in the fucking ring with her, and there's a ladder at her feet right behind her. It would have taken her less time to pick up, set up, and climb the ladder and claim the briefcase than it would have taken her to stare out into the crowd and then stare up into the sky and then do this. Like her magic fiend-stealing powers were going to get the briefcase brought down to... And then once she did that, I was almost convinced that that was going to be the finish of this match. I'll tell you that much. But I'm grateful that at least they didn't do that. What they did was stupid, but thankfully enough, they didn't do that. There was more Alexa Bliss nonsense that took away from this match, more than anything it could have possibly added. When you have Alexa Bliss climbing the ladder, and then on the opposite side of the ladder is Zelina Vega, and they're battling it out on top of the ladder to try to gain the briefcase. And then Zelina Vega becomes possessed by Alexa Bliss. Mimics Alexa Bliss's every move. Alexa climbs down, making Zelina Vega climb down as well, only for her to try to run back up at the last minute. I guess she broke her hypnotic spell at the bottom of the ladder there, and then shot back up to try to claim the briefcase for herself. We don't need the ookie dookie hocus pocus magic bullshit. Let's just drop it. If she wants to keep the style, that's fine. She looks fucking great in this character, but the character itself has won its welcome weeks ago, and now it has tainted a Money in the Bank match that outside of these particular spots might have been okay, except for the fact that the one female who came out tonight and got absolutely zero reaction from the crowd upon entrance is the one that won this Money in the Bank for the women. Leave it to the WWE to try to do something different and end up picking the one person that nobody seemingly really is invested in just yet. I don't want to say nobody cares about Nikki Cross's new character, because obviously everybody cares in a way, whether you don't like that she's doing it and you wish she was better. You care enough to dislike it, and if you do like it, then obviously you care and you want it to get over, and you're very happy that she won this ladder match tonight. But it's not so much that she won, but almost the way that she won. You had Alexa Bliss vanish from this match. She was buried under a bunch of ladders outside the ring. Okay? And then you had the remaining 6 females, other than Nikki Cross, battling it out on 3 ladders that were placed side by side as the briefcase dangled overhead. And then Nikki Cross, from out of nowhere, climbs up over everybody. She climbs up the ladder, gets over everybody, and unhooks the briefcase, while 6 other ladies are standing there looking like, what? What? Who's this? Who's this freak with the mask here? Like, they could have literally had a whole conversation in the time it would have taken one of them to punch Nikki in the stomach, push her off the ladder, stop her from getting the briefcase. 6! Not just one female that maybe was distracted by another. There are 6 ladies up there. Many of them very powerful, but all of them seemingly, by the booking of this angle, very stupid, because they just allowed Nikki to climb over Liv Morgan while they all watched and won this matchup. Either they pretended not to see, or they were too busy beating up the other girl across from them, and the whole thing to me just stunk to high hell, which is why it's probably the only match on this evening that gets a big fat stinky poop hammer. And I hate to do it. I hate to do it. You guys that have watched me for a long time, you know I love my women's wrestling. I love it. I love a lot of the females in this match. I think Zelina Vega is fantastic. I've touted praise for Zelina Vega on this channel for years, and not just because she's from the same city in New York that I am from. I've always been a fan of Nikki Cross. Not this version so much, but I've loved Nikki Cross. I always loved Alexa, even when she was going through the I don't want to wrestle right now phase. I was always a fan of her. Asuka, Naomi, not so much Natty and Tamina, but I accept them. They're second generation talents. I don't mind watching this match. But the way you book things, it's just typical. And I appreciate them trying to do something different and throwing a curveball, because I don't think anybody would have picked Nikki to win this thing, especially with her gimmick being so fresh and so questionable at this time. But that's what fucking happened. I couldn't make it up if I tried. And if it was up to me to make it up, you damn well sure know it would be a hell of a lot better. You know what was much better than this? The AJ Styles and Omos, the defending the championships against the Viking Raider Warrior Raiders. Now, what I don't appreciate, and I don't understand why they would even go back and bring this up, is right before this match, after the Viking Raider Warrior Raiders came out, they wanted to show a highlight package of the whole thing that they did between the Raider Warrior Raiders and the Street Profits. Remember when the four of them were acting like clowns, and even though they were going to be adversaries, they were trying to best each other in Viking-like activities, and also things like bowling and basketball and regular, modern sports-themed things. Do you remember all that we had to sit through? That we hated the first time around? They showed that as a hype package for the Viking Raiders. Why? Of all the things you could have showed, you could have showed their time in NXT. You could have showed when they debuted on the main roster, when you were actually making them beat people up. You showed their absolute worst moment. I don't appreciate that. However, I was rewarded by a decent tag team match to follow. It had a decent amount of time. AJ and Omos defeated the Raider Warrior Raiders in a very good tag team matchup. I'm still not sold on Omos, however you want to say it. And I'm sure the guy's more than capable. And maybe the WWE's holding him back. But I'm just not there with it yet. Maybe we'll get there. I'm not the type of fan that's sheerly just impressed by your size. The guy's got some charisma, he's got a good look to him, and I want him to be successful. But as of right now, the only reason I'm interested in Omos is because he's being teamed with AJ Styles. Apparently, everybody in Texas agreed with me as well, because it seemed to me that the fans in attendance were cheering way more for the heels, AJ and Omos, than they were for the Viking Raider Warrior Raiders. AJ Styles is over like gangbusters in Texas. Man, they were cheering for AJ at every moment. Omos gives Eric a big tree slam, they called it, and gets the pinfall for the win. And the crowd was very happy about this. They erupted for this, which I thought was weird. I didn't find it weird that Drew McIntyre got a heavily mixed reaction from the crowd when he pulled his promo, and it wasn't your typical storytime historical nonsense with Drew, so we're not going to pull up that graphic again, but it was not really needed here. He promised to kick off some heads and was going to climb the ladder and win the briefcase, which is what everybody in the ladder match always does. And then we got the killing of Kofi Kingston, which was promised to us by the almighty champion Bobby Lashley. This match went a little over 5 minutes, but was over probably in 2. After 2 minutes, Kofi Kingston was done. Done. Lashley had him beat head to toe. Hand over fist. There was no way Kofi was winning this match. He was a destroyed man. Bobby Lashley then chose to continue to annihilate Kofi Kingston at his leisure, showing everybody that he's not about the stupid ladies and the champagne, and that he's about what he says he's about, and that's kicking ass and being the champion. This was fucking brilliant. Brilliantly booked. Lashley taking his time, hitting Kofi with 3 dominators, taunting the crowd as they booed him as he continued to beat down a defenseless Kofi Kingston. It was at the point where even the referee was begging Lashley, please, just fucking pin him. He'd say, I'm paraphrasing, obviously. And then finally, Lashley would apply the Hurt Lock for the second time in this matchup, and Kofi Kingston barely was able to summon the strength to tap out. The referee called for the bell, and Lashley won by submission in dominant fashion. And this is beautiful for many reasons. One, because it restored Bobby Lashley back to what he was while he was with the Hurt Business, leading into the whole Hurt Business angle. And that's the Bobby Lashley we all want to see. Although I don't ever mind looking at some pretty ladies, I don't need to see my world champion acting like a jackass every single week on Raw and losing because of it. See, Ric Flair used to do that styling and profiling thing. They used to show him partying with the ladies and going up to the hotel and riding Space Mountain and all this shit. And then he would go out there and he would win. And he had the Horsemen that had his back, and they would win constantly. That's the difference. You don't celebrate and have champagne and women and just be fucking losing week after week. So it restores Bobby Lashley. And the story they told between everything he's done to Xavier Woods with the Hell in a Cell and the match on Monday Night Raw to follow, and now what he's done to Kofi here at Money in the Bank, it paints a beautiful picture for Big E to come in and gain a measure of retribution, which, if you haven't heard by now, we'll talk about in just a second, because we have to do a quick sidebar and talk about something that I don't really care too much about, but me being an honest reviewer and being true to my word, I would be lying to you if I told you that Charlotte and Rhea Ripley's match tonight sucked. I would be a liar. I'd be a stone cold liar. What? I said I'd be a stone cold liar, and and that wouldn't be fair to you. And I can't let my personal distaste for the way the WWE has crafted this story leading into this matchup stain the analysis of the end result, which tonight was actually fantastic. Sure, Charlotte Flair still has the worst moonsault in the business, but this match was a banger of a match. And I have to most especially give them credit, because this match started off a little bit tumultuously with the crowd and Charlotte Flair. You see, the crowd was chanting somewhat for Charlotte, and then they were chanting for Rhea Ripley, and then there was like a "We Want Becky" chant, and I think this got under the skin of the Flair, the Queen Flair, and she flipped everybody off. She flipped off the crowd. They tried to flicker away, and we'll get back to some flickering news in a minute, but we all seen it, and I think it lit a fire under Charlotte Flair to stick it to the fans, even if they were just saying it to get back at her for flipping us off. Whatever the motivation was for the "We Want Becky" chant, it definitely made, I think, both Rhea and Charlotte up their game, and they delivered here in a great match. I'll say it once again. Sure, the lead-in and the build-up to this championship match was terrible. Neither one of these women came out looking like you wanted to cheer for them. There was nobody to root for. We still don't know who Rhea Ripley even is, and after tonight I don't think it really matters. Her character was just the placeholder champion until the inevitable Charlotte Flair comes along here tonight at Money in the Bank and wins back the Raw Women's Championship from Rhea Ripley. I'm not mad at it. Like, I'm never happy to have Charlotte as the champion, but Rhea Ripley's character just seemed so dead in the water that it was just time to move on. You made your splash. You had your moment. Now, if I was her, I'd go back to NXT. That's what I would do. I know it's not her personal choice, but that's something that I would throw out there and hope that somebody considers, because she needs a little bit more seasoning, because she's not ready for the main roster. She's not. And this match aside, maybe the best match Rhea Ripley has had since coming to the main roster, I just don't know where they go from here. They didn't do a good job of making us care, but the payoff here was far greater than everything we were subjected to leading into it. So props to both ladies. They got the crowd to go from "we want Becky" to "this is awesome." And that is a true testament to the hard work that they put in here. Some really good spots, some really great near falls. I thought a couple of times that Rhea Ripley had this match won and that Charlotte was actually going to lose, which maybe in hindsight, maybe a couple of years from now, might have been the right call. I mean, we're always talking about WWE not building up new stars, right? And here we are with the chance for them to really solidify Rhea Ripley as something special if she beats Charlotte Flair here, and then maybe you can go on and establish her character. But they chose the safe route here instead. The crowd in Texas didn't seem to mind. It got a really big pop. Charlotte is the new champion. Nobody, I think, is very surprised. I think we are more surprised at the quality of the match and how fucking good this match turned out to be than we were surprised about who came out the winner at the end. I'll tell you what really didn't surprise me either was the fact that my Peacock and that sounds terrible when you say it that way, but my Peacock app that now holds the WWE Network prisoner behind it, much like I think everybody in the United States tonight, went on the fritz right at the time Matt Riddle and Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs were in the back. It would proceed to spaz out and flicker and go into black screen and freeze and just absolutely wonky performance out of that app tonight. And it went on for a good 20 minutes. And at first I was like, you know what? I'm not really all that mad at the app for spazzing out right now. Maybe it's spazzing out because the app, like me, doesn't really want to hear Rick Boogs playing his fucking guitar. I don't need to see the Boogs with Shinsuke Knox talking to Matt Riddle about fucking nonsense, playing Randy Orton's theme, apparently. I thought that's what I heard a couple of bars of, but I can't be too sure because my feed was going in and out and in and out, and it was fucking awful, and Peacock sucks, and this keeps happening with pay-per-views. I had some issues with WWE Network every here and there, but never to the point that I've had to suffer through with this Peacock app. It doesn't matter whether it's pay-per-view or it's a random fucking Wednesday evening that I want to watch maybe the Broken Skull Sessions. It's always bullshit. It's always bullshit, and I pay fucking money to the service, and I still have to get commercials, and it's all awful. Awful. If I could change one thing about WWE's right now, it wouldn't be the storytelling or anything. It would be to give me back the WWE Network, because at least I could go back and watch the good stuff without getting fucking aggravated. And this went on throughout the entirety of the opening of the Money in the Bank match for the men. Everybody's entrance was ruined for me. I didn't see anything for the most part. The first maybe 5 minutes of this match was constantly being interfered with due to a bad feed and streaming problems. If you're in the US and you were watching on Peacock, you know what I'm talking about. Apparently, everywhere else in the world that still gets to have the actual WWE network had no fucking problem. So some of my sledgeheads in Sledge Nation of Canada or over across the pond in the UK, you guys had no problem. But guess what? This guy missed some of the good stuff in the Money in the Bank ladder match that kicked everything off. However, I did finally restart my app at the instructions of the WWE on Twitter, and it did start to work again. Peacock apparently fixed the app. It only took them way too long to do so. And then we were back up and running. Thankfully, I got to see some of the great spots in this match, which include but are not limited to Drew McIntyre doing the 3-2-1 countdown and giving a double claymore before he was kidnapped by Schmear and Stanky, Jinder Mahal's new AOP 2.0. They came out, I didn't know who the fuck they were at first, but then all of a sudden it dawned upon me, these are Jinder's goons, and they beat the shit out of Drew McIntyre, kidnapped him. They kidnapped him. Jinder hit him over there with a chair, and then they dragged his ass to the back. I don't see this ending well. And I'm feeling like the PR department's going to be in for some heavy workload. Talk about heavy workload. Ricochet did a lot of the heavy lifting tonight. If you want to talk about big spots in the Money in the Bank match, one really stands out overall. Ricochet was on the ladder, climbing his way up to the briefcase when Matt Riddle would tip the ladder over. But Ricochet, feeling the ladder's momentum being shifted, leapt from the ladder, bounced off the top rope, springboarding off of it, doing a somersault flip to everybody on the outside. But the momentum and the fluidity and the gracefulness of it was just superb. The way he sprang off the ropes and flipped and hit everybody, it was a thing of beauty. This is following him tight walking the ropes in order to get to the ladder in the first place. Ricochet trying to remind everybody why WWE brought him up to the big game in the first place. He was an MVP in this, not MVP Bobby Lashley's manager. He was one of the most valuable players in this matchup. The same could be said about Matt Riddle, who RKO'd everybody in memory of Randy Orton. But everything about this match comes down to one man. Before we talk about the winner and the finale, there is one other huge spot which I have to give credit to Seth Rollins. Yeah, Seth Rollins was all over this match tonight, and he effectively eliminated Kevin Owens by taking him from the top of the ladder and powerbombing him outside the ring to another ladder, which was set up across from the ring to the announce tables. Kevin Owens came crashing down, and it hurt inside, and he would not return to the Money in the Bank match. Shinsuke Nakamura as well taken out on the outside, which only left Seth Rollins and Big E, who then came in to this matchup, climbed up to stop Seth Rollins from retrieving the briefcase, hitting him with a big ending from the top of the ladder. The biggest ending I think we've ever seen in E's history. He would then go on to climb the ladder, take that briefcase down, much to the joy of the WWE Universe and this guy, because Big E was my pick. He was the one and only, most clear, logical person to win this briefcase this year. And now that painting we was talking about comes into play, because Big E, with the Money in the Bank, can challenge Bobby Lashley, not just to win the WWE Championship, but to avenge his New Day brethren that Bobby Lashley has treated like human trash bags. And let me just say this. this is not controversial whatsoever, but I just want to bring to the forefront that these last couple of years has been a tremendous time if you're a fan of of professional wrestling, of the WWE, and you're a person of color. Don't you feel great? You've got to feel great. Especially this year, you had Sasha and Bianca in the main event of WrestleMania. They took home an ESPY award for doing just that. Bobby Lashley's been killing it as the champion for a greater part of the year. Kofi Mania was just a couple of years ago. Now you got Big E winning Money in the Bank. It's tremendous. It's tremendous. It's a long time coming, and I love it. And what makes it even special is that I don't really care. Like, I don't look at it that way. I fucking love Big E. I think he's fantastic. He's got WWE babyface #1 guy written all over him. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. When you're great at what you do, the rewards will come. And finally, Big E is in a proper position. I just felt like I needed to say that because I'm proud that it's happening. So I can't imagine what you guys must be feeling on the other end. Let me know how you're feeling and if you agree with my assessment in the comments down below. If you don't agree and you're a racist asshole, then you could fuck off and you don't have to say anything. Now let's get down to business. And the business being the Universal Championship match, which went on way too long. Now, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed this match for the most part. I thought there was a lot of laying around, a lot of standing around, like there was for the women's ladder match. There was a lot of times where people were just staring, posing, just wasting time. A lot of time wasted in between the big spots in this match. And I realized they're maybe just trying to let this match breathe. They know they're following a huge moment with Big E and the Money in the Bank. Hard act to follow. So they tried to space things out and draw in the crowd. And they did. The crowd was totally into this match. But it went over 30 minutes. And after a while, I was just like, what else could they possibly do? For the majority of the first part of the match, Roman Reigns was the aggressor and just looked like he was going to wipe the floor with Edge, but Edge is a never say die type of competitor, and he proved that tonight, kicking out on many occasions, beating Roman at his own game by hitting him with the spear, almost winning this match multiple times, and it was really, really good. Really convincing. And even though I don't think there's a person on this planet other than Edge and maybe Beth Phoenix that thought Edge was going to win tonight, we all knew it wasn't going to be at the end of the night. We all knew it was going to be Roman coming home with this thing. What I don't appreciate and what I don't like and what we have to bring the hammer down on is the overbooking of this. Was it absolutely necessary to have the Usos come out to try to make the save when Edge had Roman in the crossface with the steel bar in his mouth? Out come the Usos, who are immediately followed by the Mysterios, and they have a little brawl outside the ring. They stop the Usos from saving Roman. Out he goes. Edge almost wins the match right there, but then Seth Rollins would come out of nowhere. Here I am again to ruin everything. He's pissed off that he lost Money in the Bank. He's been pissed at Edge for being the one that gets the next shot at the Universal Championship. So I guess he thought he would come out here and cost Edge this matchup, which to me makes him the stupidest person in all of the WWE. Because if Edge was about to win, let's just say, for argument's sake, Edge was going to win, and you were Seth Rollins, who would you rather face? Not just because Roman's in his prime, he's at the top of his game, and he's the #1 thing going in the WWE right now that obviously you're not going to beat. It's not that, because Edge is a WWE Hall of Famer. He's a legend. He's a multiple-time world champion, right? So the threat level is almost the same, but at the same time, You got a problem with Edge. You've had a problem with Edge. So why not let him win and be the one to take it from him? Instead of costing him an opportunity just because you wanted it, you big old crybaby.
I'm gonna get in there. I'm not gonna wait anymore. I'm next in line because I'm Seth Rollins.
I should have put my mask on for this bit. Is my mask over here? Here, yeah, it's right over here. Is this Seth or is this Roman? Here we go.
I'm Seth Rollins. I want my shot at the title now. I'm Seth Rollins.
For those of you who are still around at this point, that was special for you. So let's just wrap this up. Seth Rollins gets involved not once, but twice. Twice. And it costs Edge the match when all is said and done. But the bigger story, if there was a bigger story, there is tonight. Because you might not be able to see him right now, but believe me, John Cena's back, John Cena's back, John Cena's back. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so John Cena has returned to challenge Roman Reigns. Roman's like, oh, there's nobody left. You know, I want the whole world to acknowledge me. And John Cena came out, had his music play, walked into the ring, did his You Can't See Me. Roman looked pissed, and we're off to the races as SummerSlam is setting up to be Roman Reigns versus John Cena for the Universal Championship. Cena chasing his 17th world title, looking to break Ric Flair's record, and Roman Reigns is the only thing left standing in his way. SmackDown just got pretty interesting, and just right as of right now has become must-see TV. I am no fan of John Cena. You guys that have been following know this for a long time. I, like many others, have been sick and tired of the Cena train. But he's been gone for so long, and there's nobody else that has been built up by the WWE, so he's a perfect fit. He's not going to beat Roman. He's a great guy to put Roman over in this moment as Roman is doing his thing right now. And it's going to make for a fantastic SummerSlam main event. I'm all in. I'm all in on John Cena versus Roman Reigns. It's much better than the alternative and what's rumored to be going on Monday Night Raw as Old Turd. I don't have a mask for him, and even if I could buy one, I wouldn't. Oldberg might be coming back to Raw to face Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam, but those plans might be foiled by one extremely positive Big E. Hopefully he's not too hurt. I did notice he was holding on to his arm at the end of everything at Money in the Bank. Hopefully it's just a stinger and nothing serious happened. Thank you guys so very much. I didn't realize how long we have been talking already. We are almost at the 45-minute mark. Thank you all for joining me here on Sledgehammer TV tonight for watching the Money in the Bank review and reaction show. Overall, a very good show. A couple of big hiccups, a couple of controversial things, and a surprising thing to close the show. So we're moving Edge on to Seth Rollins. Roman moves on to John Cena, and hopefully Lashley moves on to face Big E when he cashes in his Money in the Bank. Hopefully SummerSlam weekend. I'm exhausted. It's been a long night. It was a long-ass pay-per-view. Thanks to all the glitching and the bug out of Peacock, the fucking worst app in all of existence that I've ever owned. But that's another story for another day. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Team Thor, the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Yeti microphone, the most important member of the team, as always, each and every one of you. And if you haven't by now, smash that subscribe button and join Sledge Nation right now. Make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed yourself here, if I made you laugh, if I made you cry, if I made you understand why pro wrestling has its ups and downs in the world. You can hit that like button for me. It helps me out, like I told you guys at the beginning. And then don't forget always to share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they need a place to come and shit all over the WWE that they can call home. And that's us here at Sledgehammer TV. If you missed anything on the channel, it'll be linked up in the annotations up above, and we will see you tomorrow night for our review of the post Money in the Bank Monday Night Raw. I don't want to watch more anymore. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe. I don't know. That's going to do it. We are out of here. We will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com.